What's up, guys? Welcome to my Holy Paladin Shadowlands guide. It's gonna be a bit of a longer video, but that's only because I need to go over lots of detail and for different aspects of the game and just for learning Holy Paladin in general. So this is for people who really want to learn the spec and healing in general, at least from what I picked up. This expansion of becoming a healer main. So let's go over races. So and this is gonna be mainly for PvE, by the way. But I'm going to include some PvP aspects that I know of that I picked up as well. But I'm no PvP main right now. I've been learning as a PvE healer so far. I haven't really had time to do my 3s yet to give a good analysis on Holy Paladin there. But for PvE, I think that for Alliance, that Human and Dark Iron Dwarf are your top 2 races. For in general, Human has their will to survive, racial to break him out of CC, so it's good universally, mainly for PvP. But also, humans also gain extra secondary stats such as Mastery, Verse, Crit, and Haste. I get by an extra 2% from all sources. So that's already pretty good, especially for Paladins. Having extra secondary stats is really strong for us, especially Haste and Crit, which I'll go over later for your stat priority. But Drain Eye, you can play whatever race you want to the higher levels. Obviously, any race can make it, but if you're actually min-maxing, then I would suggest Human or Dark Iron Dwarf, because Dark Iron Dwarf has their racial of the blood. I don't remember what it's called, but they have an ability that breaks away or dispels bleeds, curses. I think it's curses, magic effects, and poisons. And for each effect that they disable, they get extra strength or agility or intellect. Just primary stat in general, basically. And then for Horde side, I would suggest Tauren and Blood Elf for the top 2 for sure. Tauren being number 1 for their critical damage and healing increase that they get, and the AoE stun from War Stomp, because that is always going to be a really strong racial to have. Both of those racials are really strong to have, in general for PvP and PvE. And then Blood Elf is pretty good for outplay potential as well in PvP and PvE situations for for arena BGs and for arena and for Mythic Plus with the Blood Elf racial Arcane Torrent. It gives you holy power, and it's a dispel for a beneficial magic effect on your target. I don't know what I'm being invited for, but I guess we're doing something. But for talents, I'll have for Mythic Plus. I take Light's Hammer, not necessarily for healing. I take it for damage, but healing it's decent, right? At best. It does 3% of my healing overall, like it did this time. And I'll show you the log, the details I have here. And these were with different trinkets. This was before the reset, by the way, in the Theater of Pain 15. Which now I'm down to 6%, which isn't too much of a difference anyway. But still, it's not for the healing. You take it for the damage. Look at the damage here. It does 5% of my damage overall, because it's just a huge AoE burst, really. And then you take Judgment of Light in every PvE situation, because it's super strong. You're always gonna be pressing Judgment in your rotation, and I'll go over that later. And then you can take for Mythic Plus, Fist of Justice is really good to have. but you can also take Blinding Light if you need like another form of CC for AoE or as an interrupt. It's pretty strong, so you can take either or, and then PvP you can take any of these three. To be honest, for threes you'll probably be taking Fist of Justice or Repentance all the time. But so for every PvE situation, you're always gonna take Rule of Law as well, because you want your mastery to be like top notch with reaching your targets, but also it's very helpful for reaching your ranged DPS, because and especially when you're pugging, because people are not gonna stack up with melee as much as they can. They're gonna stick in their normal positions. And generally speaking, they're gonna not know to stay within so many yards for your Light of Dawn. So, and you're playing a melee range as a Holy Paladin all the time. Like, I'm sure that was already a given, but in case you didn't know, you're a melee healer, and if you're new to Holy Paladin, you get to acknowledge that for sure. Because it's kind of key to playing Holy Paladin, is providing the deeps, but also, like, having a good rotation for your heals. Because your melee abilities give you holy power. For example, Crusader Strike and Holy Shock give you holy power. So the spec is very fluent all around for having emergencies, like oh shit moments. You can just save people as long as you manage your cooldowns right, which I'll go over soon. And then for your other talent, Divine Purpose all the way. Like, no matter what, you take Divine Purpose. I've tried these two, or I've at least tried Holy Avenger. It's just too clunky. It's too long of a cooldown. It's just not very good. I would not recommend even trying it. Divine Purpose is super strong in PvE situations, especially, because it procs more often than what you might think. And then it's also increased damage and healing for your Shield Righteous, if you're using it for that, or your Light of Dawn for your AoE heal. And then for your other talent, you take Awakening all the time. Unless you're PvPing, then maybe you take, then sometimes you can take, if you want, you can take Sanctified Wrath, but I think Awakening overall has very high consistency in both situations. It procs on Word of Glory and Light of Dawn to grant you Avenging Wrath for 10 seconds, which is a bunch of heals. Like, it's super good for Raid, Mythic Plus, and even PvP. But if you're feeling like Sanctified Wrath is the play for Arena, then you can try that too, and let me know how it is. And then for your other talent, I've tried Beacon of Faith for PvP situations. It's just not the best. I think Glimmer of Light is going to be the best all around for every single situation, because of just how much it really heals. It deals so much healing, it deals so much damage. Well, it doesn't really do a lot of damage, to be honest, but in Mythic Plus, it's pretty good. And then the Raid is even better, because it goes up to 8 targets, which is like more than even your Shock Barrier can handle. Because your Shock Barrier legendary, which I'll go over later for your legendaries, is like your best one. But, you know, let's actually go into legendaries, right? Alright, legendaries. You're only going to be taking Shock Barrier all around. Well, at least for PvE situations, you're always going to take Shock Barrier, because it's just the top performing one by far. And if you look at this one, Light of Dawn's range increased 40 yards, it's really not that good. Because, well, with Raid, it helps you already helped a lot with your Rule of Law, and as long as you position yourself correctly, you can hit like a lot of people anyway with your Light of Dawn. And it's not even really like useful, because Light of Dawn has a target cap of 5 targets, so you're most likely going to be hitting a bunch of melee for your heals anyway. But for the range that can catch it, they're very lucky to have it. But and then for your other legendary, you can try out Mirad's Dying Breath, but that used to be like your best in slot in Legion when that was a thing. But in Legion, you didn't even have Shock Barrier to compete with it. And I think that if you had to go with Mirad's Dying Breath instead of any other one, then Mirad's Dying Breath would be your close second, I think. because this isn't useful, this isn't useful, this is useless. This is not really the best for holy. This is better for like red or prat. And then Paragon is pretty good if you want to go for like a high damage build in PvP. But if you're PvPing and you're in high levels, you definitely want to take the protection legendary, Reign of Kings, I think it's called. Let me see. Yeah, it's called Reign of Endless Kings, and it's where you drop below 20% health, you become infused with Guardian of Ancient Kings, and you pair that with the protection. Here, I'll show you the protection conduit. It is I think it's a defensive one. Yeah, it's endurance. Royal Decree. You put this on your defense slot if you go this way. For arena, for playing very safe. Because realistically, you only need like one potency conduit. And then you put this in there, and then you pair that with the legendary, and you get a free huge World of Glory heal. Like, it's huge because it's free, and then you don't have to spend holy power. I mean, it's really crazy. Like, you can save yourself a whole bunch of times in different situations where you're getting bursted super hard, because this is a bursty meta for PvP right now. And then let's go over rotation, which is pretty basic, right? I mean, in raid situation, I'm talking about raid situations right now, where your Light of Dawn can reach some ranged, but you're gonna reach a lot of melee, which you can prepare for by you have your raid frames over here. These are party frames, but for your raid frames, you have them over here. I use WI, so it's easier for me to mouse over and then just click and then just hit World Glory on somebody, or not World Glory, Holy Shot. So once I get like Holy Shot, or I get enough Holy Power, and I need an AOE heal, just hit Rule of Law and Light of Dawn. If you're going for damage, because there's no heals needed to be done, you get your Holy Power, and you spend it on Shield of Righteous, because it's free damage. Like, you might as well, because you never want to just sit on a bunch of Holy Power. You want to always be doing something with it, because you are going to be constantly cycling Holy Power as a Holy Paladin. Also, make sure you remember to have your Beacon of Light on your main tank, or at least your tank that's going to need the most heals all around. Sometimes it's easy to forget that, at least for me. So if you need to, you can make a weak aura for that.
I will tolerate these fiends in my temple no longer.
Do some keys for fun. But hopefully I didn't miss anything. I don't think I missed anything. Oh yeah, stat priority. And trinkets that you want to go for as a Holy Paladin. So the best trinket combination to go for, that is the most optimal, you want to get an Unbound Changeling with a trinket from Sun King. I'll show you real quick which one it is. It's the Plumage. It is the Tuft of Smoldering Plumage. And this is what it does. You infuse your ally with a Tuft of Plumes, healing them for 17,000 after 6 seconds. And it's increased by 25% of their missing health. But that's not even like the best part of it. The best part of it is that it saves them from lethal damage. So if you notice that somebody is dying, and you can't save them with like, and you're very low on your cooldowns, like your Holy Shock's on cooldown, your Light on Hands is on cooldown, and your Divine Toll is on cooldown, and you don't have wings active, just save them with your Plumage. And it saves a lot of time, especially in it saves a lot of resources, a lot of time, in Mythic Plus and Raid. And I haven't seen it in PvP, but I'm sure it's pretty good. Unless it's like mega nerfed in PvP. I have no idea. I haven't tried it yet. And then if you can't get your hands on a Plumage or a Changeling, like you can get your hands on one or the other, you can take the PvP trinket that gives you haste and it procs for primary stat. Because you want your haste because you want to stack a bunch of haste for your stat priority. Here we go, putting on oil real quick. So stat priority, for Mythic Plus, you want a Haste Crit, and then I believe for Raid, you want Haste Mastery. Which, I mean, I don't have a bunch of crit or a bunch of mastery, so that's why I take the Holy Shock Potency
3, 2, 1.
for extra crit. And then for conduits, you want to use
Yet another of the Kyrians.
you want to use Ringing Clarity, and if you don't have enough crit to make your Holy Shock 100%. Then you take the Holy Shock potency that gives you extra crit on the Holy Shock itself. Otherwise, you can take something else. Here, I'll show you. I'm in combat, sorry. Conduits, and then so for potency, if you don't really want to take the Holy Shock one. Sorry, I'm so focused on healing. This is scuffed, but it's fine. You can honestly take Respondent Light, or if you're a fan of using Light of the Martyr, then you can take the Light of the Martyr one. But I think Respondent Light would be like the close other best one. And then for endurance, I take the shielding words all the time, all around. It's really good. It's really powerful to have that shield in both PvP and PvE situations because the Aurora Glory is such a big heal all around. And to provide you with that shield means that you're healing yourself for way less overall. In the end, you're gonna thank yourself for using that. And actually, this is a good example, because this is Bursting Week. It's like, good rotation for heals. So in oh shit moments, or when you just don't wanna, or when you just wanna provide a big shield to your teammates, just press Divine Toll, because you're always going to use Shock Barrier in Mythic Plus situations.
Yes, my pleasure.
I'll just activate that. Oh shit, my tank died. I don't know why we pulled out that. Okay, well we pulled too much that time. It wasn't my fault that he died, but it's okay. This gives us time to look over the other ones, the other conduits. So for endurance, you want to definitely go endurance over here, so you can have an extra heal on the side. In PvE situations, at least, you can have Golden Path, but in PvP, you can have Echoing Blessings and the Finesse row over here. Having Finesse is just better because you're not gonna stand in your consecration a ton for PvP situations to really value much from Consecrated Ground or whatever it's called. Let me see. I forget what it's called. It's called Golden Path, actually. I was completely wrong. E, you're going to be able to benefit a lot from Golden Path. Yes, there's no reason to not stand in your consecration, to be honest. Because you're always going to place it down. Sorry, I'm focusing on the prideful healing a little bit. Let me know in the comments if you think that I'm wrong on any of this. Or where I could improve, because I'm always looking to improve as a healer overall. But I think I have enough grounds, given my my experience in Mythic Plus. And with the game in general, to talk about it, about what I know about my main class so far. So I wait for that. Give myself a quick heal with Holy Shock. That heals me up by like 25, at least 30% of my health. Holy Shock heals are actually really huge. You don't want to underestimate Holy Shock. It's so good. I know some people might want to think that Flash of Light is their main heal, but it's not. It hasn't been for like a while, to be honest. Spell myself for quick, because you can. Because something important to know as a Holy Paladin is your limits, and you are really your strengths and weaknesses are like you can dispel a lot of things except for curses. That's really the only thing you can't really dispel. And then your heals are all bursty. So for oh shit moments, you're really powerful. For example there, if I had Divine Toll, they would have been perfectly fine anyway, but I spent it otherwhere, and add somewhere else in the fight, some other time. Yeah, as you can see, my group is doing just fine. Pop Aura Mastery. Ends, I can just pop wings for more damage. Also, I think something worth noting for healing in general as a Holy Paladin is spending your Holy Power on the right abilities. And that's something I picked up pretty fast, was that you want to spend your Holy Power on a lot of Light of Dawns overall. Because it's really good now as an ability. It's not just like a useless like mana spending ability to where all your AoE heals would come from Glimmer before for for Mythic Plus. But now all your AoE heals are going to be really just Shock Barrier and Light of Dawn. To be honest, that's what really made me enjoy Holy Paladin more, is the fact that I could actually spend that ability and benefit from it in my HPS meter. It just feels so satisfying as a paladin to see that ability go out and actually do something for once, you know, instead of relying on the Glimmer as your main source of healing. I thought that was super boring for Azeroth. But anyway, I'm just ranting at this point, or rambling. So I don't think there's anything else to cover. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments below. I hope I didn't miss anything. And I wish you guys the best of luck in learning how to heal. Because for some people it can be pretty difficult at first, because it's a completely different playstyle. Ooh. But anyway, good luck guys. Have a good one.